Most people can name New York, Paris, or Shanghai without blinking, but if you ask someone to find Jakarta on a map, they might hesitate. With over 35 million people in its greater metro area, it's the second largest urban area on Earth. That's more people than the entire population of countries such as Australia, or as much as 3 Swedens. But ask someone to name its landmarks or vibe, and you'll often get a blank stare. This anonymity is baffling, because Jakarta is an actual powerhouse with an extraordinary geography and urban fabric unlike anywhere else. Look at Southeast Asia on a map, and you'll see why this region has always been a magnet for trade and migration. It sits like a giant hinge between 2 oceans, the Indian and the Pacific, connecting East Asia with South Asia and the vast markets beyond. Ships passing through these warm waters carry everything from Middle Eastern oil to Chinese electronics. At the heart of this maritime crossroad lies Indonesia, a nation stretched across the equator like a necklace of more than 17,000 islands. Jakarta sits right in the middle of this maritime highway. Zoom in from the sweep of the whole archipelago, and you'll find the city on the northwestern tip of Java, the most densely populated island on the planet. Java itself is a powerhouse, a strip of volcanic land packed with over 150 million people, a fertile spine that feeds the whole country and fuels its industry. Geologically, it's part of the volatile Ring of Fire, where the Indo-Australian plate grinds beneath the Eurasian plate. This restless meeting of plates has shaped the island's rugged spine of volcanoes and fertile plains.
Jakarta's location is no accident. It sits on a broad, low coastal plain that opens straight onto the Java Sea, a calm stretch of water that connects to the wider South China Sea and the shipping lanes of the Malacca Strait to the northwest. This deep, sheltered sea means easy access for ports and shipping. Beneath this flat land, however, the soft alluvial soil and river deltas create challenges too. It's land made by centuries of sediment washing down from the volcanic highlands in the south. Get closer, and you see why Jakarta grew where it did. The city spreads out on a flat, lowland delta, built around 13 rivers like the Ciliwung, the main river of the city, among many others. Historically, these waterways moved goods and people, creating a network of ports and markets. All that water also means fertile ground, which drew settlers centuries ago. But that amount of water also means floods that creep into streets and houses during the rainy season. In fact, parts of Jakarta are dropping by up to 10 centimeters a year because of relentless groundwater pumping. The ocean isn't far, and every year the sea tries to take back what the people have built. This watery reality shapes life in Jakarta. Families raise their front steps higher every few years. Flood barriers appear like scars on the riversides. Yet despite all this, the city keeps growing outward, swallowing marshland and rice paddies with new malls and gated communities. The sprawl stretches so far that it has its own name, Jabodetabek. That's Jakarta plus Bogor, Depok, Tangerang and Bekasi, satellite cities that have fused into one unstoppable urban tide. Together they form the second most populated urban area in the world, only behind Tokyo. But unlike Tokyo's neat order, Jabodetabek is a patchwork full of skyscrapers, kampungs, industrial zones, and endless roads that connect them all. Jakarta doesn't hit you with the neat grid of Manhattan or the old elegance of Paris. Instead, it feels like 100 small towns welded together by overpasses and clogged streets. There's no single downtown, there are many. Some areas glow with glass and steel towers. Others look like villages that never got the memo they were now part of a megacity. One of Jakarta's urban hearts is Sudirman, a business strip lined with towers that pierce the tropical sky. This is the financial muscle, where suits and ties fill the cafes and meeting rooms. Just a few kilometers away is Menteng, a leafy old neighborhood where embassies hide behind tall fences and colonial houses peep out from rows of palm trees. Then there's Kemang, popular with expats and the city's creative crowd, a pocket of hip cafes, boutiques and bars that spill music into the streets at night. Getting around all these districts can test your patience. Jakarta's traffic jams are legendary. a daily ritual that can stretch a 10-minute drive into a 2-hour crawl. This has shaped how people live. Many middle-class families plan their lives around avoiding the worst of the gridlock. They move closer to their offices or ride on the back of a Gojek, the city's iconic motorcycle taxis that weave through traffic like fish through coral. But change is coming. In recent years, Jakarta finally opened its first metro line. It's small now, but it slices through the city's heart and signals a dream of a future where cars aren't the only option. Above ground, the Trans-Jakarta bus system runs special lanes that sometimes manage to beat the gridlock. It's a start, and for a city this big, every little bit of movement counts. For all its urban sprawl, Jakarta still feels human when you find its pockets of life. Although it's not a place of grand boulevards made for strolling like most European cities, here the city's pedestrian spirit is hidden in unexpected corners. Take the car-free day every Sunday on Jalan Sudirman. Overnight, one of the busiest roads in the city transforms into a river of people. Cyclists, joggers, families, teenagers, thousands pour out to reclaim the street from cars and buses. Street food stalls pop up selling iced tea, fried tofu, and fresh coconuts. Kids ride little scooters while their parents do stretches under skyscrapers that would otherwise feel so distant. Another place that hums with local energy is Kota Tua, the old town. Here, Dutch colonial buildings lean into public squares where street performers, artists, and vendors gather. On weekends, locals rent brightly painted bicycles with matching sun hats to cycle in lazy loops around Fatahillah Square. It's playful, imperfect, and full of chatter. A reminder that Jakarta isn't just towers and traffic, but communities that adapt old spaces for today's life. Malls are another cool place where to hang out for the locals of Jakarta. In a city where heat, rain, and traffic can make outdoor life tricky, the mall is more than a shopping stop. It's a hangout spot, a playground, a food court, a cool escape from the tropical sun. Grand Indonesia and Plaza Indonesia are two of the biggest, stacked with everything from high-end boutiques to buzzing food courts that mix local snacks with Korean fried chicken and bubble tea stalls. But maybe the best glimpse of Jakarta's soul is the humble warung. These tiny street stalls cling to sidewalks and alleyways, where locals gather for a cheap cup of coffee or a plate of nasi goreng. Here, gossip flows faster than traffic, and strangers become friends over bowls of spicy noodles eaten on plastic stools inches from roaring motorbikes. Jakarta may look chaotic at first glance, but look closer and you see a city that knows how to find calm in the noise, how to carve out moments of connection in the shadows of concrete towers. It's a megacity that rarely makes it onto travel wish lists, yet it might just be the biggest city you never realized you needed to know. And it's growing, shifting, and figuring itself out every single day, just like the millions who call it home. If you enjoyed this deep dive into this incredible megacity, don't forget to subscribe to Cities Explained, the channel where we explore the world's biggest urban giants, one city at a time, uncovering what makes them unique, from their geography, their intricate transport networks, to their pedestrian culture and street life. Here's a sneak peek at the cities we'll be exploring next. Now, if you are curious about how geography shaped the most populated city on Earth, making it the world's true megacity, you can watch that on our latest video about Tokyo.